Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I thought that I would be speaking something about formal writing. Okay, formal writing. So what do you mean by formal writing? Now in our local languages, of course, sometimes we speak in one way and we write in another way. That means you are using kind of simplified grammar for speaking. Some people say there is no grammar in speaking. No, you have to have a grammar. Otherwise, nobody would understand what you are telling. Okay, so even in our local languages, we are having kind of a grammar, a simplified version in speaking. But when it comes to English, of course, you don't have simplified version of grammar in speaking. So even for the writing as well as speaking, it is the same grammatical rules that you have to use. Okay, now when it comes to formal writing, but there are some ways that we usually use. As an example, now sometimes in speaking, you might say, right now, being a professional, that you have faced a problem, right? So somebody is pointing out, okay, sir, this is the problem that we are having for the time being. Okay, so in speaking, you might say, okay, we'll consider that also. Okay, we'll consider that also. But in writing, you can't write like that. Okay, you can't write in a formal letter or a formal report. You can't write. We'll consider that also. That is very poor writing. Okay, so there is a proper way. How do you write? So you can write like consideration should be given to that aspect of this problem as well. Okay, consideration should be given to that aspect of this problem as well. So this is kind of proper writing. Okay, and there are some other ways. Now as an example, usually you can say, now in speaking you can say, if you want any details, you can contact me. Okay, if you want any details, you can contact me. Okay, but in writing, you can of course write, um, uh, should any reference be made, the communication should be conveyed to, like, okay, so that depends upon what you are writing. Okay, now don't think that he is speaking Shakespeare's English or something. No, no. So there is no rule. Okay, but that depends upon the situation. Okay, right? So you can use should instead of if in some instances, and that gives something of a formality. Okay, but remember when you are writing, so that your writing should be consistent. In one place don't write should, and in other place a very simple sentence structure. That's not going to work. Okay, so that it's like it doesn't match. Okay, when a person has a proper command in English, okay, when a person has a proper command in English, once he is reading your article or your letter or your report or whatever, he can understand very easily this is not matching. He's struggling with the language. Okay, now I have conducted some lectures in government and private universities as well, sometimes complimentary also. So then when they submit their reports to me, very quickly I can find out, okay, this man has cheated. Okay, this man has cheated. How? Because he has taken some material from the internet, and he has just put it there in his report, and in between he has written something in his own. Okay, something on his own. So then I can very quickly understand, okay, this is the formal thing that has been written somewhere in the internet, and this is what my poor student has written. Don't think I'm laughing or anything. Okay, I'm not laughing, but you can very quickly uh, understand what has happened there. Okay, so if you are going to write very formally, your document should be consistent, your language pattern should be consistent. Understand? Okay, so now there are some words, some very proper and very formal words that we use in formal writing. Now, as an example, uh, now you know I am a civil engineer, so maybe I will be speaking something about flooding. Okay, now when it comes to flooding, if I speak, I can say, and uh, this area usually gets flooded. Okay, this area usually gets flooded, so we have to uh, arrange our works according to that situation. Okay, that is how I speak. But when it comes to writing, so we can say consideration should be given to, okay, consideration should be given to the possible inundation of this area. Instead of flood, you use the word inundation. That's formal, but don't use inundation in speaking. Okay, you just don't look here and there and say this area is inundated. No, you don't say this area is flooded. That is how you speak. But when it comes to writing, you use the formal word inundation in that area. So that can be formal or that can be technical. Okay, and again, sometimes we can say now for a professional, maybe you want to say in a report you can write, this person should be kept in isolation for some time, especially when you are speaking about quarantine or whatever. You can say this person should be kept in isolation for some time. That is how you are going to write. Okay, but when it comes to speaking, it's always better to not to use the word isolation because it is bit technical. Huh? It's bit technical, so you can see. So you have to keep that person on his own or all alone, like that. Okay, for some time. But remember, in quarantine or whatever, if if that word isolation is really necessary to describe that situation, you have to use that. Okay, don't think isolation, that is a formal word. I'm not going to use it in my speech in under any circumstance. You can't, you don't have to say like that. Okay, so there are some other words now, especially when it comes to speaking, we say reason. Okay, but when it comes writing, we say circumstances or conditions. Okay, like that. There are so many words that you can use. Some we use in speaking, some we use in writing. So the best tip to write a formal document as a professional is to have a very good vocabulary. Okay, that's the main thing. If you have a very good vocabulary, the relevant word quickly comes into your head, so that this should be the word that I am going to use. Huh? For that, you have to read a lot, and you have now, as an example, if you are an engineer, so you read the books related to your field, then of course you are getting many formal words. Okay, you are getting many formal words, then of course you can use. But remember, this is nothing about English, but when it comes to say you are going to describe something to some layman. Okay, some layman don't use such words. Okay, even an educated person, say that you want to describe now, just think that you are an engineer, so you are going to describe something to say uh, a profession, another professional, say bank manager or a doctor or a lawyer or something. Now don't use the technical words because they don't understand. Okay, as same as if a doctor is going to tell us about one disease in his or her terms, we will not understand. Okay, so there is a place you have to use these formal words. There is a place you have to omit them and come back to the bottom. Okay, and use the simple words. Okay, right. Then thank you very much. You better read something. Always read, always read something related to your field, so you will collect all the words that you want. Okay, have a nice day.